screenplay.
Alright, so what do we talk about?
I think talk about just literally this. You and me, a long time wow, my voice by the way. Long time we seen each other, and obviously we met quite recently. So, okay, are we recording?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have like a fancy intro now?
Yeah,
What's
that was
up?
it.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay. Shall we go? What's up? This is Honor.
Yeah.
Thank you for this.
Welcome to the This Is an Honor podcast.
This is an Honor podcast in the rebranding phase.
Yeah. What I'll do is I'll probably just post it on the Stavanger Filmmakers channel.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And then we can collaborate, branch off, whoever wants to do what kind of podcast later, you know. Maybe you want to start one, me, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of like this though, this setup.
I don't really think we need to start like 5 different podcasts.
I think we should do one, because I like this. I've been wanting to do this for such a long time. All of a sudden, we two meet. I've known you for quite some time. We first met, and then all of a sudden we just, boom, here we are.
No, we've
So,
been hanging out a lot, I think, 2022 to 2023. So, yeah. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is.
So filmmaking, you know, obviously, I know you from the Filmmaker Club in Stavanger. Can I ask you, Rafa, are you deep in the filmmaking as well? Phil?
Oh, deep. Well,
What are you?
I'm just in the club
He's
also.
Raf is if I can speak on his behalf,
Sure.
very humble polymath.
Oh.
He can do like 3D art, music, writing, filmmaking.
Gaming.
Yeah.
Oh, you're an all-round. Okay, you're
Yeah.
all-rounder. You're a dangerous guy.
Jack
Yeah,
from
yeah,
trade, yeah.
But he's just so contemptuous of everyone else that he doesn't let us see his masterpieces.
You're like
That's
a
Raf.
Terrence Malick. Like a Terrence Malick, just hiding, doing everything yourself, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
That's a good one, wow.
Yeah.
Can't wait to watch your stuff. Have you got some films out? Or?
Nothing like out.
But I've been trying to convince him to do short film with the club because everyone's
Yeah.
doing short films this year and that's nice. So maybe
Yeah,
I'll do something.
I'm doing my first one as a director, and also I got to slip in the actor because I want to do like a Clint. I always admire directors and actors. I think you actually, to be honest, it does work really easily together. Just because you think about the performance while you're directing, and while you're acting, you think about okay, what about this shot? You think that. I saw like Jason. What's that guy? Ozark guy. Or I was like Jason Bateman.
Oh, yeah.
He said, whilst I'm doing the scene, I'm thinking of the edit. I'm thinking, okay, the quick cut to that one, the quick reaction shots, you know what I mean? I mean, I think it's a benefit of being an actor and transitioning into a director. And then I think you can play ball, I think, a lot. And then obviously you know how to speak to actors also. That's the thing. But yeah, I'm excited to do this project. It's going to be, obviously, it's I haven't done it before, but I've witnessed. I think that's a privilege of working with different directors. You get to see how they all work, how they speak to each other. I think that's a privilege of being an actor. If you are ever going to direct yourself one day, I think doing that, I think definitely helps, because directors, you can't just go visit other directors just because you want to. I mean, with actors, you work literally with different directors each time. And I saw Erik Skjoldberg when he directed in Kampen om Narvik. That was a big thing because he's a big, I've had a
good production, right?
Yeah, good production, yeah. Because he's obviously I think he's not one of Norway's best directors because he's so versatile in each project he does. And he was so quiet, to be a North Norwegian director, because they usually talk. And he was, I remember the direction he got, Magnus, I realized this is your first big project. And I just want you to know that just feel the character here. I just want you to breathe. Just remember to breathe here. The core is here. He was sort of meditating me, and we spoke about some, past events, rather dramatic and stuff. And I remember one day we're doing this scene. He said, "Magnus, I want you to go to that place." And I was like, "Oh, very sort of bizarre way of doing it." Then I've had others just say, "Okay, action." But this guy was so quiet. Very interesting to see each techniques and. But this guy also, by the way, Erik Skjoldberg, he went to do acting classes to get an understanding of what it's like to be an actor. That is respect.
Yeah.
I mean, that's you can't really do. Not only I don't think a lot of directors do that. You know, they actually do the work as an actor themselves to understand the mindset. Sometimes, you know, it's not like just quick action and go. And no, that was really interesting. And the last one I did, sort of plugging here, but number 24. It's about Gunnar Sønsteby, you know, the guy leading resistance fighter. About in Norway, you know, most decorated soldier in Norway, playing one of the, I'm gonna say, his sideman, henchmen, and that director did the North Sea and the Wave, you know, those big, you know, not the Wave, the Quake, by the way. Nice. The Quake, yeah. So he's got that big sort of entertainment aspect, right. But he was really cool, you know. He could play around more. You could chat to me as a mate. I think the other guy was a bit more intimidated of Erik Skjoldberg, to be honest. He had this presence where he could just stare at you. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like he had that glare, and this guy was just more chill. Jon Andreas, yeah, he was chill. So, but what's your experience with that also? Because it's like with directing techniques. What do you prefer?
Directing techniques, good. I don't know. I mean, like the way that we work in our club is with mostly, it can be total newbies, so they need a lot of help, I think, a lot of the time. But I mean, I think no matter whether it's, all they're doing is giving you permission to do the thing. Yeah. Right? Mm. And I think that's all you can really do at the end of the day. It's up to each individual to act, and you can theorize as much as you want. But then it's just like, be the guy now, you know, pressing the record button. Yeah. So I don't know. I try to be patient. What we do is we have kind of longer pre-production where we can do more table reads, more questions about the character. I do like the technique where you write down like, now bargain with him, now threaten him. Yeah. As a mode of getting the emotions out. New actors find that really helpful. But somebody who just does stuff and believes that you get better purely through practicing, I don't have too much patience for sitting around talking about anything. You know?
No, you got to do the work. And also, you know the technique in Captain Phillips. You know what they did with the first guy, the Somali guy, they actually separated the Somali pirates from Tom Hanks. So you know that I'm the captain now. That was the first time the actors saw Tom Hanks. Plus, also being in character, I think it helps, man, for first-time actors to really get that. I think that's a brilliant technique. Obviously, then again, it's
surprise. Like you just kind of drop in there, and you're like, "Oh shit!" Now you just have to be that guy.
Yeah, I think this whole rehearsing thing also it obviously helps with certain techniques if you're going to do more technical aspects and elements. But I think that not doing too much also can really ruin it.
I also think it's about personality.
For sure.
It has to depend. It depends on the personality of the director.
Yeah.
So if the director knows how to stay calm and kind of draw that out of you, I think that's magic right there. More than, you know, sitting and going through a scripted thing over and over again till you get that person to do it like that. Yeah. That's just I don't think that's just walking right into a wall.
Yeah. Yeah, because an actor.
But you do that really well, Leo.
What do I do?
You know, you draw the character out. Like for the last one we did.
We did the short
film. What's a bad luck to a club like ours?
Last one, yeah.
The last one. It was really funny because I never came to any of the readings. I was not there. But then you just told me, put your shades on, walk right in, and just be you. That's it. And that's all I need. And I was like, okay. And then you were like, be a little more, just you, but accentuate
aristocratic.
A little more,
yeah, you know, it's like these small things.
Yeah, it's so like true. If you know to bring that out and like casting people who cast.
Cast them right for the part.
Cast them right for the part. Yeah, if you don't know what you're doing, and if you just can't find somebody who you think, you know, you can't base it on the look of the person. It has to be the person for that role.
That's a bonus. The look is the bonus. Yeah.
Yeah, the look is just it's a bonus.
Yeah.
So if you know the person is like that, so that's what I think you did with that, my role, for me personally, and also Rebecca.
Yeah, well,
she fucking nailed that. She really went right in. Like, she went all in.
She was, like, living as her character. Yeah. She was sending me a message saying, like, I've started watching this series on Netflix because I think it's what my character would watch. And I was like, Godspeed, you know?
Yeah. And even better, Like
Garrett nailed
she
it
just
so well,
had
my
this whole
God.
like pizzazz about her.
Yeah.
Like this older lady, I think what she was.
Yeah, and the
I
thing
never
was
watched
like,
this film, by the way. Yeah.
oh, I can send it to you because the interesting thing was like everyone, at least as I had written it, they were supposed to deliver an unbroken monologue, each of them. Only Rebecca managed, and that was fine because everyone, we were filming from multiple angles, so I just cut about whenever people messed around, and it actually made the film more interesting. But it's also, we're not perfectionists in the slightest in the club. It's about everyone doing the best, and it's about bringing the best out in each individual. And it's not about me enforcing my vision on people and going like, no, I don't think the character would do that. It's like, this is your character. Let's meet in the middle somewhere. The great thing about what Jeremiah did was there was a misunderstanding because I'd said, come in, pour yourself a coffee and sit down. Jeremiah grabbed the whole thermos and then sat down. And I thought, actually, that's it. And he was like, oh, no, sorry, we'll do it again. But we were like, no, that's exactly what your character would do. So now, when Tom starts talking, stand up, pick up the entire plate of biscuits and put it beside you.
Be rude. Like just walk in and ask, you
Doing
own
the
room.
thing, yeah. But
Just
it's like
being
you talked about casting. Like I think it was John Huston when he was working with Michael Caine. Michael Caine was so confused. Why don't you give me any direction? And he said, "Well, I'll be doing it. It's called casting. It's 80%." Yeah. It's actually true though. Once you have the right, you don't need to. Because I think if you do too much as a director, I don't know. You could use small, intricate bits here and there, but I think the best directors, they know when they have the right guy or woman for the part. They just know it. They don't need to go back and fine tune every single word, line, because it would just be. It's just, it's no point of that. And it's like,
Life isn't like that.
No, like
this isn't like that.
No, but for me, the worst direction I get is like pick up. Once you say that line after her, pick up that pick up the glass and just think. Nobody does like that. Pick up the glass on that line. Why? Can't I just pick up the glass on instinct?
You just say pick up the glass, and then it depends on when you're mid dialogue. Like suddenly you're just like, I'm just going to do it naturally.
Naturally, it's just an instinct.
I think people are kind of fine tuned to that. Like the number of movies that are out there, and people watch a lot of movies, so now they see the difference between a good actor and someone who's forced to act. Right? Like if it's not within the person, it's like method acting almost. It's like you have to become the person. So if you're going to do it under direction and under pressure all the time, I don't think it's going to work. No. Like it looks fake. Anybody would realize that. Anybody would see it. And you don't need to be a director or, ace fucking Oscar-winning personality. No. You could be just anybody sitting anywhere and be like, that guy's not a good actor. Because I can see that he's acting. He's acting.
And that's the thing with the theatre guys, even though
it's
coming from the theatre.
Right?
But the best thing with the theatre, I always say, the best thing with the theatre is like you do A to Z every single day. That's the best practice I think the theatre gives you.
The discipline.
Yeah, but also the amount of like you say like you do the whole script from day one, because I think it's sometimes filmmaking can be a bit lazy as an actor because you just do 1 to 2 pages. You're like walking in the door and that's my day, But actually with the theatre, the discipline of saying you have to remember all the lines and have to know that, and then you can play around it. Yeah. But I think the problem that can come with that is just the acting, like you said. I think theatre actors, when they transition into film, I noticed that particularly them, they can, in some cases, overact. It looks fake. Yeah. And most directors, in particularly in film, they hate acting. They hate the word acting. You're not supposed to act. That's what they always say. I hate acting. I have directors tell me they hate acting. Just just be.
If you can become that, you have to adapt, right? Like Bruce Lee says, be like water, my friend.
Be like water. Or like Joker. Just be.
Yeah. Be. Like if you know that this is how that person's going to act, become the person. I think we are all putting on characters every day of our lives.
Yeah.
Right? We're all pretty good at that. Like when you go to sleep, you don't have a character, do you?
No, that's the thing.
You sleep fucking weird. Like everybody sleeps fucking weird. Like if you have to film yourself sleeping.
I
would have been. You're not really thinking about it. But when you get up in the morning, you have a sense of, I need to look like this. I need to dress like this. I need to wear this perfume. I need to wash my hair like this.
That ruins it. And that's why I think kids can be one of the best actors that ever out there, because you can tell either a toddler or like particularly a 6-7-year-old, you can say, be a dinosaur. And then they will just like really become it. If it were like, okay, flash forward then 20 years, okay? Talk to a guy, girl. Okay, first of all, how's my makeup look? How's my hair look? Okay, am my eyeliner right? They think too much of the other stuff that's not really important, other than the actual job. See what I'm saying? Like, that's the first instinct. The kid couldn't give a shit. They couldn't give a shit what they look like. They just be.
If they're comfortable enough to be I have a kid, so I can tell my son is really good. I think he's probably one of the best actors I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like he would just walk up and he'd be like, "Papa, we're in a game right now." I was like, "What do you mean we're in a game?" And he's like, "Now we have to find coins." It's like it's like Sonic.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because
He's got to find coins. So he just walks right through things. Like he just runs through the area like bling, 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 and he just does that. And I was like, "What are you doing, dude?" I see it as, "What the fuck is this? What's wrong with my kid?" But no, but they live in the theta frequency.
Yeah.
That's what they live. And that's the only understanding they have. And that's
live
amazing.
here and now.
They live right here, right now. And that's it. It's eternally grounded there.
Yeah.
It's not something where it's fashioned from before, it's molded from before, and he's projecting something that he's right here, right now. And if you ask him to be a dinosaur, and then you give him a, preferential dinosaur type, T-Rex.
Yeah.
He immediately goes into that.
Yeah.
He does that, and I was like, "Yo, that's fucking great."
But they don't give a shit if they make a fool out of themselves, because I think that's the
whole point. That's
you
great.
need to be, you have to unbreak that sort of barrier. I think to test stuff. People, they take themselves so serious. I noticed that. Whether you have to be able to fail, say the line fucked up, try this one. Just have fun with it. Like. At the end of the day, we're here to make something art, It's just like,
Like being silly on camera is one of the biggest gifts you could give people anyway, because they are so uptight, like you say.
Yeah, that guy from Sopranos, what's the guy's name again who passed away? The lead guy.
James Gandolfini.
James Gandolfini. You know what he used to do? He used to make a fool out of himself and embarrass himself in front of everyone. He used to be like, okay, let's go. Because he just wanted to get that energy out. But just remember that we're just playing pretend guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day.
Everybody's stressed, right?
Yeah, but
On
everybody's
set.
stressed.
Everyone's stressed. So if you can create sort of a light moment there for everyone to just fall in and realize that, dudes, we're all just making a fool of ourselves anyhow. It's just that there's a camera present. Fuck it. Let's just make a fool of ourselves even more. Like, just be real about it.
Yes.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's the thing. So coming back to directors and casting, I think if a director knows how to cast, or he chooses the right casting person, it's probably going to be whatever movie or however stupid the script is, that movie will be a success.
100%.
It totally depends on how the person in front of you directs. Like, if you know how to draw that character out of a person, and you know that, okay, he can do that. But I don't like to act, you said, right? The word acting. But that's predominantly what everybody is doing, because nobody's really this.
Everybody is acting in one way
or the other.
That's right, yeah.
It's a very natural state of being, but only some people have access to that. As in, we choose not to conform to a certain bracket of acting. We branch out. It's like you can be a crazy guy in an ad for 5G. Yeah. The ad you acted in, and when you were on top.
Oh yeah, the joke. That was Joker one. Yeah.
You were doing that.
It was fun.
But the kid in that.
Yeah, the kid.
The guy. Dude, man, that was some fucking hell. Like, he was convincing. So were you.
Yeah.
But he was convincing.
No, the kid was awesome. Yeah, he
Fuck, man.
I've seen that. That was you.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. That kid in that. Yeah. I was like, I saw him and I was like, yo, that's Magnus.
Yeah.
And I was telling everybody, oh, that's my friend, man. I know this dude. And then I saw the kid. That was the subconscious speaking to me. And I was just like, holy shit, that kid's a good actor.
Man. It's so much better than...
Yeah. All the shit. Yeah, they had fun making that. The day before, I saw all the clothing like a Heath Ledger Joker. It was like so like, whoa. And they're on set. It was like this almost Hollywood production. It was so cool. That was Harold Swat, he's a big Norwegian actor, director. He does the 12th Man. I've done like 2 commercials with him. What's the other thing he does? Yeah, those Lange Flate Baller, those 5 fat guys with Norway on the stomach. It started, he make that Lange Flate Baller. It's like a fake, He made those. Yeah, he did the Karate Kid with Will Smith's son.
Ah.
Yeah, that's him. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. No, that was a fun shoot, but again, it was fun. And now, when you make yourself too serious, it's just,
You see the failures in all of those things. Every time you overthink it and you overproject,
yeah, and
you're
also
overstretching
the
yourself.
humor also.
It goes away, man.
I
The
see,
charm is gone.
On every set, I see it. There'll be someone just like, it's normally the camera guy does it the most. The camera, he'll be behind the camera and he'll just go like, oh, Krister's calling. Hang on.
Come on.
Yeah.
Phone call.
Krister, hi.
Yeah, we're back. We're back from a
think we
little
should
pee
be-
break. Yeah, no, like Disney. I mean, the thing is, inclusive stuff, it needs to work in order for it to work. You can't just force and just redo movies just to add.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.
But it doesn't succeed.
Black Spider-Man. I was like,
Yeah, but what about the
wasn't written
mermaid?
based on.
With the mermaid
Yeah,
stuff.
what the hell was
but,
that?
But it's like, it doesn't succeed. Like it doesn't succeed. And actually it shows in Disney. Like, look at Disney back in the day. Like they took, now they just... But I think that whole thing now, people are starting to wake up now. And I think the pendulum is swinging the other way. People want, like, films. They want to get a break from these Marvel films. I think that's really taking a break now, I think. Who the fuck watches Marvel after the last Avengers? Like, truly. I mean,
it was World's End, right?
Yeah, World's End. And then...
Better end now.
And then next year, it's continue. The same with Star Wars. And let's break it from the saga. Nope. Oh, another one has to come. Like, they don't understand. And now...
Franchise, like the Fast and the Furious. I'm like, can you stop
Oh,
already?
Jesus.
Stop it. It's enough.
But I will say, though, in their defense, action films are fucking fun to do, man. It is fun to
I get
do
it.
action.
I have no...
I get it. I get Vin
I get it.
Diesel
I
is
get it.
chilling on that paycheck, and but the story. I'm trying to wonder the pitch meeting on those films. Like, surely, okay, guys. Any ideas? Yes, Charlie. What do you want? Yeah, let's try in space this time, and we drop them. Yeah, let's put that in, guys.
A fucking nitro on the car and a rocket engine and propel it all the way into space, and now he's traveling all the way to the moon.
Yeah.
I said, don't take that idea.
I would watch that.
Gotta pay for
But
that.
the best sort of marketing thing that they did, to talk about product placement. I think it was in the 6th or 7th or whatever it was. It was like, Vin Diesel likes Corona, and it was such a perfect product placement where he just like, the guy was talking about it, but what about I have my favorite, Corona, and he just places the brand. Take a Corona, because I'm so mad.
Yeah, but it's so obvious. What was that movie? Ocean's 11?
Yeah.
Ocean's 11 or Ocean's 12?
Which one?
I think it was Ocean's 12.
Yeah.
Where, what is it? George Clooney. He's just like, I don't know,
Omega watch
something
or
happened.
something?
Yeah, something. And it was an Omega. So they had to, he just had to do this. Yeah. You could just show him looking at the watch, but it wasn't that. Yes. It was the real slow thing of his hand coming in and the Omega right there. And I was just like, there's no way in hell I would not believe it was an Omega. Yeah. I can see it. You can see it. Yeah, it was right there and was paused for about 5 seconds. You'd be like, okay, I get it.
You know what that means? It means money in the bank.
Money in the bank.
Seriously, is that just 10 seconds or just like half a second and you get that's how it works. You see with the car things, that wasn't it like one of those Marvel films and like Robert Downey Jr. was driving like a Audi R8 or something. Like so obvious. It was just like, okay, enough of the car. Can we go to the story? You know what I mean? Like it's. But I get it though. It's part of the.
But product placement wise too, you see they add something. It's like tobacco, right? Cigarettes. The more you tell people. Yeah. Let's just talk about how it is in Norway. Yeah. In Norway, you don't have packs that show the name of the brand. No. They're like this, brown, right? Yeah. And they think that this is going to make you stop smoking. Fuck that, man. People still smoke. And maybe a lot more people smoke. Yeah, yeah. And when they tell you not to do something, it is naturally within any human being to
go and watch it. You know when Donald Trump, he banned that film, that horror film about, what was it? Right-wingers trying to go and hunt for left-wingers or left-wingers trying to hunt right-wingers. What's the film again?
Is it called The Hunt?
The Hunt. It is called The Hunt. When he said that, he didn't ban it. He wanted it to be banned. He didn't advise anyone to see it. What do you think is going to happen when the presidents of the United States talking about your film? Don't go and watch it. I would say.
But that was the strategy, right? Yeah. That was the strategy.
Yeah, but think about how genius that is. You get the president to hate it, And guess
So
what?
everybody wants to watch it.
Yeah, it was pretty entertaining. I will say that. Very simple story. That was the idea I had for that. Shit, I'm gonna say the whole thing. Yeah, something with like horror films. You can actually make them on a very low budget. For some reason, it takes also blood and stuff, but you can make them relatively low budget. Other films, you really, I mean, you can, but it's like other films, you have to sort of have a budget in mind. But because I think it's more fun to do a horror. It is really fun to.
I'm just getting this vibe from Raphael. Raphael, what would you make?
Raf's a big horror fan.
Oh, you are okay. Let me hear it.
What would be your take on this? What would you create if you had to make a horror film? What would be about? You don't have the whole thing, just the the exoskeleton.
Should I pitch a horror movie right now?
Maybe.
Free? Oh wow. I guess I would be a slasher. Nothing like supernatural or because I don't really like that. But a slasher, good old slasher, with stupid story.
But he did a great short film for our club about balloon heads.
Yeah. That can if you think about it, it's really stupid.
Yeah.
Right. It's really grotesque, but that's what I love about horror movies.
That film Smile was really stupid, and that.
Which one?
Smile.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah. It was stupid. It was more like serious stupid, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Right. But no, something completely grotesque or like with a lot of blood. Like how's it called? They made the second one a few years ago, and now they're working on the third one with the clown.
Conjuring?
No, with the clown.
Oh yeah, that one.
Terrifier.
Terrifier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Insane.
I love it. It's
I saw the
really
first one,
good.
that's great, yeah.
The second one is
Second one
so
will
good.
blow you away. Holy shit! The shit
It's
they
so
do there.
over
First
the
one was
top,
filmed with the
right?
worse camera than this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're going for that whole like old school aesthetic when it comes to what camera they use and what stuff they use, and it's very low budget, as you said. I think like 75% of the budget is going in fake blood,
Yeah, 100%.
basically.
Yeah, you gotta have the fake blood. I think that's how you get
Yeah.
The
And it's a
scene
lot.
in the second one, dude. Like, there's a scene where he chops the guy in half, and you see it. Like, and he takes his time. Like, literally, the guy split into, and the amount of blood. And it's such a simple story. It's such
It
a
is.
bullshit story. Like,
It
kill a
is.
clown on the loose.
It is, but everything screams old school,
Yeah.
like old B movies, and I don't know. I just love it. So that would definitely be something like that.
I love it.
Slasher movies.
Yeah, slasher movies.
Can we do another? Shall we try and do another like Jason? So resurrect them.
Let's go, yeah.
I do love those for me. I love those. For me, like when I growing up, like Freddy versus Jason. It's such a badass film, man. You wanted that. It's like when I saw Godzilla v Kong. It's like a guilty pleasure film. You can say what you want. I think it's a badass film, but I love those because I've been waiting all my life for that film. Kong v Godzilla for me.
Yeah,
was
like it's so out of.
Yeah, it's so over the top.
It's over the top, like,
over-
and that's great. Like, I fucking love blockbuster,
Yeah.
shit like that.
Yeah, but it's like Expendables, like the first one. It's a genius thing. It doesn't
Just
make any
fucking
sense.
shoot everything. Everything is blowing up all the time.
Jason versus Freddy was like so. You wanted them to be like. I could not wait for that film. Like, can you imagine doing that now? You know, and like Michael Myers, those new Halloween films. I think it's pretty. Also, like simple story, very simple, on the loose. Take revenge. Basic, it's like revenge plot. I feel like always works.
I can't stop thinking about this meme I saw on Instagram. White people in a horror movie versus black people in a horror movie. White people in a horror movie. Hey, why is it so dark? The black person's like, don't go in there, dude. Let's just go the other way. White person's like, but I need to turn the lights on. I was like, why are you going in there, man? Don't go in there.
Oh man, and it's like
It's so funny though. I mean, it's funny. It's probably made by a black guy.
probably. And what's that Lights Out?
Oh my
Genius.
God.
Do you hear the story from that, Raphael? Do you know the story of the guy who made Lights Out?
I don't think
He
so.
made the short film.
Swedish guy.
Yeah, he made the short film and he put it on YouTube with him and his wife. Basically,
Yeah,
switch off the lights.
yeah.
It's the goat's there. Switches on, it's gone.
Yeah.
He made this simple, like 5-10 minute short film. Right? You know what happened? Fucking James Wan called him.
Yeah.
He makes that. That's his. All of a sudden, director of Hollywood. That's an insane, but it's a genius sort of plot for a film. Like Every time you switch the light off, it comes on, and I thought it was brilliantly made. And talk about a simple story. I think, like with Jordan Peele, like, have you seen, by the way, even though he's the producer, but there's Dev Patel. He's making his directing debut with a film called Monkey Man. Dude, watch that after the podcast. Monkey Man. It's like a mixture of like a horror and John Wick action style with like thrilling elements. And I mean, I love that guy's choices, because I underrated film, by the way. You have to watch Hotel Mumbai.
I've seen it.
Fuck, man, what an intense film.
Yeah,
What an
isn't that
intense
Dave
film.
Patel?
Yeah, Dev
Is he in it?
Patel.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always interesting to follow.
It was a really, it was kind of slow too.
Slow too,
It was
but man,
really
when
slow,
it-
but what fucking, yeah.
when it hits, you know, when those
yeah.
terrorists come on board, man, holy shit, you know, it's a gripping thriller. Like, I got almost the same feeling when I saw the Heat, you know, the famous Heat film.
Yeah.
Not the Heat, but Heat, yeah. That shoot, you know, that scene in the
Legendary.
in the city, you know, when they're shooting. That there's something. It's so eerie when you hear those shooting, because it's so real, and it was real. You know, there's something, and it goes back to the real and acting thing. You know instinctively when it's real. You know, like you know when it's real.
If you recognize it, like
Yeah.
it's, I think anyone, okay, this has nothing to do with acting, but John Mayer,
Yeah.
right? You know the musician, right?
Yeah.
The singer. He said this one thing on one of the interviews, I think it was Rolling Stone. He was just like, when they asked him, so how do you perform? Like, what do you go through when you get on stage? What do you feel? And he was just like, Michael Jackson was always nervous before he went on stage, even though he was such a fucking famous person. Like he could just stand there and not do shit and still sell out. Yeah. But then John Mayer had this, like a break away from that. He said that if you're performing in front of 60,000 people, you have to realize and humble yourself to the fact that they're 60,000 times smarter than you are. Don't ever go up there pretending like as if you're a big shit, because you're not. In front of 60,000 people, you're just one person. You have the power of magic, and you could weave all of them, and bring them all towards you, but you have to be really humble enough to understand, accept that energy. So I think with acting too, it has to be like that. Like a lot of people, like Marlon Brando, for instance, like most of the times he mumbled. Like, nobody understood what he fucking said 90% of the time, but there was a presence he brought.
For me, it's so interesting. He is my favorite of all time, because I just love Streetcar Named Desire. Which, by the way, that play is now in Rogaland Theatre. I actually want to watch it. Be a cool role also, because there was something with that. I always put myself in the shoes of the audience to see somebody looking like that. He wasn't that typical skinny actor. He was a bit of a ditto. He was built, He didn't give a shit. There was something,
big, broad shoulders.
Yeah, but there was something with this performance that he was like, he didn't really give a shit. He didn't follow like the manual of like these character actors tend to do in that era, in the 40s and 50s. Even though I must say I love Humphrey Bogart, I thought he killed. He has a certain panache to him. But again, when you saw him, you knew what you were going to get. That fast talking, yeah, man, he doesn't know what, he was that fast talking, slick talking guy. Pretty much everything he did. But Marlon Brando, he was so different. He just came and just like didn't give a shit. And of course, at the end of his career, he didn't give a shit. He didn't even learn his lines. That famous thing on Apocalypse Now where he shows up obese when he's supposed to be thin. I mean, but he had presence, and he didn't even know his lines, but you could talk to him, okay, Marlon, Francis Ford Coppola said this, okay, talk about the flies, and then the flies. He went into this thing where he just became, and that's the thing at the end of the day, but not a lot of actors can actually pull that off. I think very, very few can pull that off. You can go.
He was also considered a weird man.
Yeah.
Right, like the fact that he moved to an island, he bought an island and he lived there with.
He didn't give a shit.
He didn't give a fuck about shit. Like, and I think that's the thing.
But he didn't give a shit. You told him he was the greatest actor. He didn't care.
Have you seen that interview on his island?
Oh yeah.
You've seen that where he wears that white suit and he sits there, and just his ideologies of life.
I love him, man.
Yeah, it's so interesting to see. Like, how would a person like him live now? Like, he would have no fame whatsoever. Like, that person would just live, isolated. because he hated people. I think he really did. He never liked people.
No, he didn't like people who
No,
treated him like a
yeah.
big star. But
And
I
he-
will
yeah.
say, I use his documentary. It's I think it's "Listen to Me, Marlon," where there's tapes, hours of tapes. He did apparently when nobody noticed, long after his death, and he had recording. But he talks about. I will say he did love acting. Like, but he talked about it like, I can be sitting on the train station when I was poor in New York. I could just watch people and just imagine their thinking, and that's so true. You know, it's about what you said about not acting. Is like I could have a death in my family, but I will still have the same look in my face. People will know. You know, you see what I'm saying? You can conjure up your own stories of people. You don't need to overly do it. You know, you could be having this traumatic thing. I think that's the best thing a director can do, is that you can sort of manipulate in a healthy way an actor. You can bring the backstory. This is you, and then once you know that, it will be so much more powerful. And I think less is more. But Marlon just knew he didn't. It was his way of life. He didn't really, like I said, he didn't give a shit. Like, he mastered the true art of not giving a fuck. Like, truly not giving a fuck. That book, The Art of Not Giving a Fuck, that's Marlon Brando. Like, it's so refreshing to watch him. He would be cancelled, man, so bad today. But my God, I would say that documentary, Listen to Me,
there's an
Marlon.
anti-cancel culture now?
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
There's an anti-cancel culture.
It's starting
And I
to
was
wake
like,
up.
you're doing the exact same thing they're doing, my friend.
That's the thing. You have the extreme on that side, and then
And
you
you're
have
the extreme on this side now. They've come in now, there's like, oh, we're going to anti-cancel. I was like, what? You're stupid.
But that documentary, watch that. Listen to Me, Marlon. It's so good. Like, it's so good. But I think more and more people need to know that. I think we have a tendency, I feel like, in this film industry also, like, we take ourselves so goddamn seriously sometimes, you know. And even people in life, I think they just need to relax. You can feel people are tense.
What I'm really interested in is that a lot of times, the thing I did recently is I was helping out one of our actors in the club create a self-tape, like I was going to do for you, and I love to do it because I love it when it works and they get parts, and I'd love to be part of that. But when we were filming, I was quite honest. I said, like, all right, you just do your thing. Let's just do. He said, should I look into the camera? Should I look at you? So do one of that, do one of the other, and when I look at it later, I'll see which one I like. I don't often know. I mean, like, I could feel when he was acting towards me, I was like, oh, this guy's acting. This guy's like in the role, and this is emotional. But sometimes you don't know when you're acting. Sometimes you don't know as a director when you're getting it right either. Yeah. And I don't think you can rely on the feeling I don't think you can say, like, give me another take because I'm not in it. Yeah. Because sometimes you did it well. You just don't feel like you did. Yeah. No. I'm interested to know, because basically every film we do is at least like 10 to 15 shooting days maximum. 1 or 2 of the days I'll be like, yes, we were so in the zone. The rest of the days I'm like, I don't know if I can be bothered leaving the house. I don't know why the hell I convinced these people I could do this. Like, I don't know what the hell we're doing. But you look back on it, you can't tell which day was which. It's all fine. It's all continuous if you just keep showing up and doing the work. But how much do you need to feel like you know when you're acting, like, yeah, this is good acting? Or how much are you just able to trust, like, hey, I showed up, I did my best, I'm sure they captured it?
Well, I think you need to trust the
It depends on what you personally have too, right?
You trust the script. You have to trust the script at the end of the day, but also, like, you have to trust yourself. But I've never met anybody who goes, oh, you know what? Nailed it. Let's move on, guys. I just fucking nailed that scene. Nobody ever does that, ever.
Well,
you just have to
You
go.
wouldn't want to work with somebody who did that.
Nobody will be like, all right, good, check the gate. That's it. And then you move on. Because the longer you dwell on it, the more you think about it. I think you just sometimes, and when you do like emotional scenes, man, you are so in it that I don't even want to watch myself, which I never do anyway, but it's just like, well, particularly on playback, I mean, I've met actors who wants to watch themselves all the time, but it's like, when you're in it, and you're done, you just want to move, and that's it, you know, and then move on to the next one. I don't just think, you know, it's just like, don't think too much about it.
What I was saying before the break about being on set, and somebody always goes, at least one person always goes into overthinking mode. Yeah. And like I say, it's usually the person behind the camera, so if they're filming like this table with the glass, they'll go like...
Yeah. That's continuity.
Not continuity. I mean, like, they're trying to find out where the exact best place for the glass would be for the shot.
Oh yeah, like that.
That
Before
doesn't
okay,
exist.
No,
It doesn't exist.
Let it be as
It's
is.
like probably about their sense. I need to just go and just like hit record. You're fine.
Yeah.
And they just need somebody else to override their overthinking brain.
But you have those the true artists like the David Finchers, or we could do the scene and he could just I heard like
hundreds of
where
times.
he could just do and he could just do like this.
Yeah.
Like he would go and just move a guy. Okay, let's go again. Like anyone's like that would be so weird. And you do like take after take after take. I don't mind takes. I mean, after a certain point, because I think it's like I look at it sometimes as we are the engine. Sometimes, to be honest, to expect you get it in one take, that's just stupid. I mean, we've come all this way. We're gonna make this. Let's fucking try out some stuff. Let's not think about let's do just one take. You know, I mean, it takes maybe for some people it can take the wordplay. It could take maybe 5 to 10 takes and then maybe 10, 20. I mean, you just never know. I think just thinking too much about that also. But I get warmer and looser the more takes I do. And then, okay, let's run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even with audition, that's the thing with self-tapes. You can get away with, man. You can do a shit ton and just, let's try this one. Let's try this one, you know?
And when we were talking about that, I've made a few music videos, and I've noticed that I've sometimes been the director in the music video because my friends were hesitant to be directors, and it was just a thing that I needed to have a music video. So it's this or that.
Yeah.
Like if I either I have a music video or I don't. So when you're put into that spot, you have to become the director too. So I remember when we did music videos, it's funny if you see all the outtakes, right? All the takes you see without the edits. If you look at it, you're just like, ugh, Jesus Christ, what the fuck was this shit? Right? But it's so funny how an editor is so important. Like the guy who shows up and he knows how to pick the right, where to cut off a scene before it starts to get uncomfortable. Right? For the viewer and for him and for everybody else. Right? So he knows, and I think that's also there's a reason why they have set places like you said, you know, the guy who comes in, Dave Finch, like he moves your hands just in a small position so that something fits there. Like he knows something works there. Yeah. And he's right about it. Yeah. So if everybody in the room silently agrees, like, you know, like a nod, like, oh shit, yeah, that's there. Yeah. So that sort of energy has to be respected. And that's when an editor also comes into play, right? I think a good editor is someone who sees the magic that the director can't, or can see the director's magic. Yeah. Right? Like if he sees the director and he's like, okay, it's this guy's movie, so what do you want? Like I want it like this, I want it like this, I want it like that. Yeah. Cool. But then as much as you can make it less uncomfortable for the viewer, I think there's a lot of greatness in that too. So big ups to big editors, man. Like fuck.
Yeah, we need all the things, you know, like we need all the departments making a film. There's
a lot of hands at play.
Yeah,
everybody's got to work
to make you look good. Like I think that you have to be humble.
Yeah, like, absolutely, man.
Even though you might be the guy on the poster, but for no other, you should ever think you're above anybody. Ever. It's a collaborative medium. That's why I wanted to make films for a living. I really did, because I love, you know, like watching B-rolls. That's one of my favorite things. After I watch a film, I go straight to YouTube, watch the B-roll, and I'm starting to watch all because I saw the trailer, like the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, because I fucking love those new films. And Andy Serkis, that's like for me like the ideal dream job I would love to, because because the motion capture stuff I would love to try. Because it's sort of, it reminisces of, I think, theatre whilst making a film. Plus the costume, and you can really play with it. And I think just how good it looks. Have you seen how good it looks? Yeah. Like the technology is insane nowadays.
Planet of the Apes, right?
Yeah. Oh man, there's new ones with him, and he is the Brando of fucking that type of acting. I will say that. Andy Serkis, he kills it. But like all those new avenues you can try now, you know, that's what I really love with modern day, and like
it's getting so what do you say, foolproof, right? It's so you can't catch them at any point. You're like, fuck, that was CGI. But you can't say, you know, it's all CGI.
Yeah, but we know still, it's CGI.
It looks so real. And that's so fucking, like Avatar, for instance. even that, like it was crazy. I saw the, the Way of the Water.
Yeah, second one, yeah.
The second one. I saw the first one. The first one was impressive. At first, I was just a little like, yeah, okay, it's a little weird. What are these
Pocahontas
blue?
is what
Yeah,
they call it.
Pocahontas-ish movie. Like I get it. What's with the blue and okay, but then as soon as you start to see, once you get into it, the story is so captivating that you start to forget. You forget the CGI. You start to forget, and then you start to normalize it.
Yeah.
And then you start to think about it like, hey, maybe their perception of movement is completely different to ours. We're so in a box with how people move.
Yeah.
Right? Like we know, like, okay, so today I saw a guy running and he was running like as if he was collecting stuff as he was running. And I was like, well, what's that? I found it extremely funny. He was running like this. Right? And I was like, you got giant knockers or something? Like, are you banging them while you're running? Yes. He was running like this. And I was like, this is really cool. What is this movement? Right? So if you start to see like, okay, completely off topic here, I'm just drifting away. Go with me on this. Our perception of time, right? What is our perception of time? We know time to be of something, but in the Oriental time, the Orientals, they don't have a perception of time like we do. They view time differently, and in the Chinese New Year was on Feb 10th. So the year started on the 10th of Feb, which was a few days ago.
Oh, so they dumped all the shit days in the previous year. That was smart.
They say that is, and also they say that it's 13 months in a year.
Yeah.
So now when you go into that, now if you go deep in all these fucking understandings of things. Okay, I'm just giving you a little taste of what I'm going to.
Is it coming back to acting?
No, so yeah, it is coming back to acting. It is coming back to acting.
Cool.
Right. Imagine that we're living on a giant broccoli and we're in someone's fridge.
In China?
No, just in general. This entire planet, we're living on a giant broccoli and in someone's fridge, right? But the only thing is that their perception of time is completely different to ours, right? Just like, for example, ants. Ants, right? You see, how do they perceive us? If you start thinking like that,
I'm still confused about the broccoli.
So
Are
when
we
you,
in
when you
Wuhan?
look at
Is
the
this
when you
a-
look at the earth, when you look at the earth, right? Look at the earth. Yeah. Whoa, shit.
Are we gonna go there? Oh shit!
Are we talking about Wuhan?
Oh
Are we
my
talking about
God.
Wuhan?
Wuhan.
Yeah, well, that is what happens in Las
Wuhan.
Vegas. Stays in Vegas, but
Yeah.
what happens in Wuhan does not stay in Wuhan.
Does not never. Yeah. It absolutely doesn't stay in Wuhan.
True sports.
So I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
think about it, like perception of time. Coming back to acting and the CGI effects.
Right.
So when you
watched Avatar, like the first things I noticed was I did not like the way they moved.
Okay.
Like the way they were moving, right? Because they had longer limbs, they were taller, right? The characters.
Okay, but you're saying that they move like aliens.
You don't, yeah, you don't, you perceive, when you watch it, we're so used to watching, like when you said Planet of the Apes. It's fucking insane how they make it look so real, right? It's a bunch of fucking monkeys, just really like apes, just really becoming. You're just like, what the fuck? That's so real. Like they make it look so real. But when you see Avatar for the first time, you don't understand the movement. Like I find movement of body also a very important part of acting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that is.
It's it's super important to watch how the person moves because only then are you convincing.
This goes back to your like holistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, no, but movement is a huge part.
It's a huge part of this, right?
But just finding the physicality of the character.
yeah, like I said, the guy running today,
yeah.
like he had his earpods on, the way he was
yeah.
running, I was like, what are you collecting, dude?
I totally get the point you're making. That was worth the journey through the broccoli.
Yeah, to the broccoli stuff, like the perception of time. In my head, I would always think like, God damn, this planet, what if we are actually a broccoli in someone else's fridge? But those giants have a different perception of time. So for us, a century would be a microsecond for them, right? A century for us. So how long till the doom, when they pull us out and be like, this is fucked. Gotta throw it. And then, as you know, everything would just collapse, right? We would just go back into factory reset.
Yeah. But then, like, how have you ever thought about? You talked about yes, that's absolutely. Let's start within the fridge and then. No, have you done much theatre? Theatre is more.
I started doing theatre and then improv theatre. That's what I love. I think improvisation is like the biggest tool of an actor, like because you need to play ball. I mean, of course the script is there, but you need to play a little bit around it and just have that little playground for you by yourself and just okay, how would say it like this? But I never, when I meet actors, my character would say it more like when you meet those people, like shut the fuck up. My character wouldn't do this. My character's like, oh, just. You know what I mean? Like,
what's your motivation? Your fucking paycheck, records.
Yes. Yeah. How about you just do what you pays you? Yeah. How about just do what you're being paid? How's that for a fucking?
It's not for motivation.
But it's like, I get it, but just don't be fucking bragging about like, oh, my character. Like at the end of the day, man, it's just like, it goes down to like less is more and just being in it and just try and somehow. Speak the words as if you were saying it for the very first time. Like the Ian McKellen extras, that famous thing. Oh, yeah. Have you seen that one? No. Oh, but I haven't seen that one. That's why because it's so hilarious.
That clip's got to be on YouTube.
That clip is so hilarious. And obviously, it's like a comedy show by Ricky Gervais, right? He's an extra. Yeah. And then he meets all these.
Do you know it?
Extras. It's so good. Extras is so good. But he meets Ian McKellen, and then he goes like, "Okay, Ian, what's your secret to acting?" I try to say the words and speak them as if I was saying them for the very first time, And then I'm not really a wizard in all this. Then I go, "So Ian, action, wizard, you shall not cut." So Ian, and the look of him. The bloopers on that series.
Patrick Stewart has an episode as well.
Oh yeah, man. Oh man.
His every film idea is just about a guy who gets to see women naked.
Yeah. It's so good. And I just want to see them naked. I'm telling you, if you have a bad day, watch the blooper reel by Ricky Gervais, because he has The Office and Extras, man, and his laughter, man, he just breaks character. But also, he talk about a guy who doesn't give a shit. Like, he's always himself. Even though I do love Afterlife, I think it's a brilliant series.
I started watching that. So I something about series now. I can't watch them.
No, but I think it's too many of them. Yeah. There's too many now.
Yeah, I think the choices are like there's way too much, and everyone's making a new one, and it's like.
I do like watching like the quality ones. Like I watched the new Band of Brothers series.
Have you seen Fringe?
No, that one.
I've heard that's good. I've heard that's good. You seen
they were way ahead of their time, dude. The Doctor, Fringe. Have you seen that?
Fringe
sci-fi series.
Fringe, it's like a sci-fi series about them traveling between dimensions.
I've heard it's great.
It's fucking amazing.
And Silo, I heard is great.
Oh, I need to read the books.
Yeah, Silo, and but there's so many. But I the big anticipating series, for like that Band of Brothers one. What's it called? Masters of the Air. Pretty good. The New Look, I thought was brilliant. It's about Coco Chanel and what's the other guy, the other fashion designer during World War II, and Coco Chanel was like sleeping with a Nazi.
Oh, nice! That's about her Nazi collaborations. I want to hear about
Man, it's so good.
Coco Chanel did a kick-ass.
I am not gonna buy ever. But what's the name of the other guy? I need to fucking know. Jamie, pull that up. Fuck, what is that? Yeah, man, it's just.
Apes on DMT.
Man, imagine just doing this whilst drinking, and just having.
Oh, nice! You got to do that.
Yeah, we got to do that. Yeah. Like a proper.
I already had 2 glasses of wine before I came here.
Raf and I will go cycling.
Oh yeah.
something.
I'm really hoping to get some more right after. God damn.
Oh man.
Need a glass of wine.
No, but it's like it's all about like trial and error, like filmmaking. It really is trial and error. The same with acting. I hate it was like there's one way of doing it. No, you should.
Do you know what really annoys me though? Is that I've been writing for a really long time. I've been filmmaking and everything. And every time, I know you're never going to know the theory, but every time I show up, I'm like, why don't I just fucking know the answer? Yeah. And the older I get, the more I'm like, I know it's not coming, but why the hell is it not coming? I've been working so hard at this. Why do I not know? But I know you're not supposed to. If you knew, you wouldn't do it.
No.
There's this. I love The Dropout about Elizabeth Holmes, Theranos series, and her quote was, "What would you do if you knew you could not fail?" Right? The answer is nothing. If you wouldn't be interested in doing it.
No.
Yeah, that was that famous. I saw that video of a guy who said, "What would you do if you no? How big would you dream if you knew you couldn't fail?"
Yeah.
Man, when I saw that video,
I think not very big at all.
fuck, man,
It wouldn't be so exciting, would it?
no, but it's
No
like
chase to it anymore.
no, but I think people like if you knew you wouldn't fail, but I think you would dare to take chances. That's the whole point of that one. I really think so.
Yeah, but it would boil over. It would be done.
My favorite quote.
Like if there was like you said, if there was no way to fail and you could dream as big as you want,
Well, then what would people?
what would be the end?
Yeah, what would people dream about then? You know?
Well, that's going to be hard to say.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes instead is like, "Don't be afraid of failure. Wear it as a badge of honor because failure means you risked failure."
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if I've not failed enough, I feel like am I really testing myself?
Yeah, exactly. Are you becoming better?
Yeah.
Or are you testing your own
Myself, and
boundaries?
this is the thing about, I mean, in the club, when people are total newbies, they're like, I don't want to do this until I feel comfortable. And instead I try and say, you're not going to feel comfortable, so do it anyway. They're like, but I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, yeah, welcome to being a director.
Yeah. Can I not be in front of the camera? Then why the fuck are you a part of this club then?
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be in front of the camera, dude. Like, that's the whole point of this.
No, but we're super, there's one thing I really want, we're all kind of afraid of, when you get really afraid, and you can be a perfectionist and say, I don't want to do it until I'm ready. Another thing you can do is say, like, I'm going to do it for like 2 hours until the audience leaves. And it's going to be like, fuck you, audience. You're really funny. And like, that is also a reaction to your own fear, that contempt. And I'm never following. I know that some people have monetized it well, such as Ricky Gervais. I think sometimes he has contempt for his characters or for his audience. But me, I'm not going there with you. It's not in my heart. And I feel like it's a sign of fear when you start to say, I want to make an audience feel revolted or disgusted, or I want to piss them off. It's like, for what? For them giving you the time of day, you want to tell them you want to give them the finger? I'm not doing that, you know?
But I think he pulls it off really well.
Some British people
Some of them are really good at it.
Oh man, he is so good. I think it's that
And
sarcasm
the global,
thing.
the Golden Globe.
Oh man, he destroys it.
The way he fucking roasts people.
And
It's fantastic.
The way
It's
he went after
amazing.
Tim Cook in like the Apple, like in front of him. Like, but talk about like, what was the thing about, he talked about the morning show the Apple was produced, talk the thing about dignity and respect, made by a company who runs sweatshops in China. Like, it's so, and to the face. But it's so true though.
He's
everybody
back,
is,
man. He's
everybody
saying
is full of shit. That's his thing. Everybody is full of shit, so don't take yourself too serious.
Exactly. And I love that about Ricky Gervais. And also Jim Carrey.
Yeah, Jim Carrey,
He
yeah.
goes there and he's just like, so, how do you feel to be present today at the iconic, this thing? And then he's just like this
Oh
is an
man,
illusion.
that one is so
Are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is an illusion.
This is an
You
illusion.
are an illusion.
The look of that woman's face.
She
is
was
the
just
best.
like,
Yeah, the look of that woman's face, because
Is he high?
everything
Like,
was
he's
like,
not-
everything is serious. Like, oh my God, what you wearing? Oh my God, look at you, Jim Carrey. Like in the camera, Jim Carrey. And then he's just like, this means nothing.
Yeah.
I'm just here
I
because
have nothing.
What did he say? I had nothing better to do with my life today. And
that's
I had
why
nothing
I'm
but-
here.
So that's why I'm here. It's such a good.
icons. And then he was like, icons? Who are these icons?
Yeah.
What have they done?
What have they? Yeah, it's. Talk about an icon though. Like, he is an icon. His documentary when he became Andy Warhol and that Man on the Moon. Yeah, Andy Kaufman. Man, the documentary on the on Netflix, when he became the character. Man, did he piss off all the filmmakers on that one, man. it was so funny, and he didn't give a shit. And he was.
that one? Yeah. Oof.
Oh man, it's so good. Like, you could see the directors just like, they're getting so frustrated and fed up, and he really pushed the envelope, I think, on that one. Like, to push the button of becoming the character, staying in character, not to mention that, and just pissing everybody off. That's what it takes sometimes, you know. I mean, Jim Carrey. I mean,
We talk about contempt for the audience, like Andy Kaufman. That's everything he did.
Yeah.
He was like boxing women because he knew it would piss people off. I mean, that's in the
he
film.
knew.
Yeah, he
He
knew.
knew it was piss people. But Jim Carrey, man, when he was in his heyday, I sometimes watch his films, man. There's nobody like him.
No.
Nobody like that. When that whole
Yeah, just the body movement.
yeah.
You know, he's the guy who's
Talk
perfected
about a movement.
that.
Yeah.
He's perfected that. Like, you know, just like, you know, when he sees something walking around, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know, just the way he does that. It's
Like
just like,
the Grinch and all that.
yeah, the Grinch.
That's when he does that.
All of those movements. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
Like,
the muscles in his face. It's just incredible how they work. Like he becomes like
he the you know, his jaw, the way he moves his jaw. Like he was on the Letterman show.
yeah.
And he was sitting there, and I think David Letterman asked him, I don't know if it was Ace Ventura or.
Yeah, he did the guy from Seaside Miami. Did you see that? Yeah.
Yeah, they asked him to do something, and the way he just immediately became that, it was fucking convincing.
Yeah, I think
like, you
it's-
would believe
yeah.
this motherfucker, like if he
Yeah.
was like that.
Yeah.
You'd be like, is that a handicap? It's like, no, it's just me. I'm just like that.
Yeah, he did those. Oh man, it's so funny how TV has changed throughout the years. Because I think I know which video you talk about. He did the video of, David Caruso's character, Horatio Kane in Seaside Miami, where he gets this. I mean, if you look back at that show, I didn't realize that I was older. Like how ridiculous those one-liners are. Because before the intro of the show, they start to say blah, 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 they found a woman dead, right? And David Caruso, like my hair color. Well, I guess we've found our guy. And then he walks off the camera. Well, I guess we've got a case to solve. He did this.
And that guy.
Oh, was this your cop character inspiration then?
That was the cop character inspiration. Yeah,
That was really fucking, that was really good. We watched that, right?
Still finished.
I
Yeah.
was wondering, like, I have seen you somewhere. Now I remember.
yeah.
We've got another director here. He did one of the Film Rookies shorts at the Filmcraft.
Yeah, Andre. Yeah, he was supposed to be here. Yeah, he couldn't. But
So did Krister.
oh, you
He
did?
did one of the other ones. Yeah.
Oh, you did one of the other ones.
Yeah.
So that's why I've seen you somewhere. I was wondering, where did I see him? When he said the cop one, I wrote, oh yeah, you played that cop.
Yeah, the guy. It was just
It was a funny movie.
Thomas.
Thomas. Yeah,
Blackman, yeah.
It's just like it's such a genius story of like a guy desperate for some action, right? Who's seen too many action films, and he takes every case
so
extremely
seriously.
serious.
Yeah. And it's the
And
guy
you-
who was just fucking high as a kite.
Yeah.
And is
I
can't find my wife.
Yeah, oh man, and it's just like the guys, his colleague is the best.
But Thomas was really good too,
I think
man.
he's so good. It's the best thing he's done. You know?
It looked so convincing. Like his
Yeah.
character was just like,
I told him like that's his. You need to do more of that stuff because
Yeah.
we want to do more together. Me and Thomas with those two. Like, but I thought he played that guy to perfection.
so fucking
And
perfectly. It was really good.
because he's so good at those lazy fucking. I told him, but it's just because he's with this.
Go to my kids, man. Like,
Fuck. I
Yeah,
can't.
he's with this annoying guy who's got ADHD who just can't shut the fuck up, and then. Come on, Thomas, let's go. And he takes extremely
Shades on, and
serious.
he's like, yes.
No,
Right now, investigation is on.
because I told Andre, man, the amount we can do with those two, man, it's like
Take Monter.
oh man, for sure. Yeah, we really want to do something more.
So, should we call it? Let's wrap
Yeah.
this up.
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts on.
Final thoughts.
On acting, directing.
I think we need to talk about movement. I think it's very important, and I think that is movement.
Yeah,
It's.
Do you know, as someone who is mostly bookish, like I spend a lot of time alone, I love to read.
Yeah.
And I think that, I know actors, like you're talking about, you look at other people and the way that they move and you study people.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely the studying people thing is lost in it's the weakest part of my mental vocabulary for creating things.
Yeah.
Same as, for me, it's mostly about words. I could just have people talking all day.
Do you see images in your mind?
Very weakly. Very weak. I can see outlines of people. And I don't really
Can you
hear
see
them
a
talking. It's
scenario?
just,
Can you see a scenario? Like, can you imagine a scenario?
do you know, I try not to. Because imagine, we had this short film we did in the basement that was like a room of people sitting around one another. I didn't know who the people were, so I didn't want to picture them too strongly because I wanted to swap them out for whoever was available.
yeah.
When it comes to, my sister has she can read a book and then she'll have vivid dreams about it. She's got one of these strong visual imaginations. I think I'm a writer. I need lists. I like to write things out in words. and there's a very rusty or unnatural way of creating it into a film. The reason I make films is because I find people so challenging. I find understanding how to talk to them and tell them what to do such a challenge. But I know it's making me grow because it's the biggest thing. It's the most challenging thing I can think to do is to lead a group of people. But I also love expressing myself through the arts, and it so surprises me when I make something that I think is so uniquely mine, and hearing everyone go, "Yeah, I think that too." You're like, "No, you don't. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I've held this in my head for 10 years." Like,
People say that. Some people say it for for the sake of saying it, because they're just,
no, but the thing is, like, if somebody watches a film of mine and then they come up to me and they just start confessing things about their lives, it's because I know that they know that I revealed something very deeply about myself through the film.
Yeah.
And that they, having seen me be vulnerable like that, find me safe to confess something about themselves to me. And it's the strongest review I can get.
Yeah.
Is when somebody just starts telling me something that they feel like...
you have that
they
sort of
didn't
energy
told me.
space. You have that sort of energy. Like, people tell you things, people tell me a lot of things that I don't want to hear.
Yeah, I hear stuff I don't want to
They
hear
just
all the
walk
time.
up to me and they start telling me their life stories, and I was like, I wasn't interested.
Yeah. I'm very sensitive.
Fuck. So then now I just have to be a part of it, right? And I can't push them away from it.
No.
I can't be like, dude, I don't want to.
If you're there's
That would hurt
you
me.
get
That
into
would
it.
hurt
Yeah,
them.
you got
Like,
into it.
I just want to let them flow. Sometimes I just fucking bail out. I'm somewhere else. But then I come back and I was like, I hear you and I know the answer to the problem. I'm not saying that I'm a guru or anything, but I know what you can do to fix it. But if I tell you right now, you're not going to listen to me.
There's never been enormous audiences for any of my films, but even if there's a room of 30 people and they're all being awoken by the vulnerability of the film I'm watching, say it's working for all of them, they can't all come up to me and tell me their life story. That's why I made the film. So the film can talk to you,
So, do you see images? No, you barely see images.
No,
you like
barely.
words.
I love words.
Yeah.
I love words.
What about you, Rafael?
Do I see images?
No, do you see images? Like, do you see... can you picture a scene without being present?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I can do it.
You can picture it.
Yeah,
right?
I
What about you,
pretty
bro?
vivid imagination.
You do.
I'm more of like I go with the location, like
You
from the location I start writing. So like when I start writing, say like I'm writing a scene, so like I first decide where it will happen. For example, the train station, how it will be.
How will it look?
Yeah, then I visualize like.
Can you smell and do you feel that? Like your sensory part, does that work?
But like I don't know how to explain it, but like I do have like this how this person should
Can you
be.
touch? I know it sounds fucking weird as shit. Can you touch a rail? Like when you're walking through, let's say you're walking out there without being there, can you feel the touch? Can you feel it? Like when you touch something, like some sort of memory like that. Can you?
memory.
Yeah. Can you touch things? Okay.
But like I more often like I visualize like this how the person should look like. Like, so, like when I write a character, I visualize okay how the person looks like. He or she like thin or chubby or like with a beard or like the look like I.
Yeah, the aesthetics. You look at the aesthetics and the location.
Everything, like-
Okay.
I visualize like while building the character, so I decide like how it goes like.
Okay.
So I have a certain visualize of
Yeah.
the character and the story.
What about you, bro? Can you touch, see, smell, taste?
I do a mix. Well, the taste thing, I mean, is about, but it's like trying to put myself in the scenario as best as I can, like visualizing. I think is the best, like imagining. Then I use the sensory memory sometimes because it's like in all the acting exercise that I did. But I think that the whole visionary exercise is the best thing, like to put yourself there. Okay, how would I react if that was me or anybody or my loved ones? I start to go from that angle also. I sort of help, and then what would I do in this scenario? Like I watched a lot of like war movies lately, and I started watching because my girlfriend and I are going to Krakow. We're going to the Auschwitz, like what I put on yesterday. I showed her Schindler's List because I know it's a very powerful film. Like fuck, man, it takes you there like that. Imagine what it must have been like to be thrown out just because who you were. You know what I mean? Like it must have been chaos. It must have been chaos as hell, during that period of time, And I mean, you just have to imagine. You will never feel like what it was really like, obviously, but you can just, trying to use the given circumstances. I think that really helps. Given circumstances really helps.
Yeah. I mean, like, okay, let's just say if you had to see a movie that was Oh, let me see. Okay, horror films. Okay, let's just go with a horror film. Would you be able to process how you were chopping someone's arm off? Like, would you be able to feel how the knife went through their skin?
Yeah, I would imagine.
Would you be able to? Yeah. Would you be
It's a
able to
very
feel it?
specific.
Yeah, I know. I'm very detailed.
He's thinking about stabbing you right now.
Yeah.
Like if I had to stab, like for instance, right? I had a near-death experience. You know, like a guy on a superbike crashed into my car
Yeah.
while I was parked, and that both of them died.
When was this?
It was in Cape Town. There was a lot. There was remember I told you about my thing? Yeah, there was a write-up on VG about it when I was on The Voice and stuff. So they asked me about the story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was. I can really feel even now. I can feel the impact, and I can sense. Let's just say that it was sort of me traveling out of my, like an astral projection. If you know what that means. Like it's a real projection of yourself outside of you, like an out of body experience, like I don't know, like DMT, for example. When
Sounds like you have like a post-traumatic stress though from that. Maybe
Yeah, no,
that's
I
why
do.
you can imagine it. You
I
know,
can
'cause
I
you-
can
yeah.
hear it, I can see it, I
Yeah.
can feel it. I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
how I fell across and how before I blacked out.
Yeah.
I know the impact. I remember all of that. So that has definitely created a sense of stressful, traumatic processing in my head. But I've also reached that point where I feel like I've read about this
Stanislavski.
the method,
Stanislavski,
right?
yeah.
Stanislavski, yeah. So it has to, if you I think, it's just my opinion, is that when an actor has to really project and become one of those people, sometimes they don't really say this out loud, I think, is that when you have to do something like that, can you imagine it and literally feel it in your fingers too? Because that is also a part of movement, because it's all connected. Would you feel like that? Like when you're cutting a person's arm or something, like, you feel it. Can you experience that right when you're there? So that is eternally grounding in the present, if you know what I mean. That is just grounding yourself there. So I can imagine it like that, and I can see it like that. I can even smell it sometimes. It's kind of fucking weird.
Well, this is why you're asking, because you.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
asking
okay,
because
okay.
is it fucking weird? Like, do people think like this, or is it just me? Like, I can smell.
Some it's not the word. I mean, it's not. No, but
I don't think it's weird. I don't give a fuck. If
No,
you
it's
think
not weird. I
but-
mean, it's like, but it's like a mixture of like a bit of post-traumatic stress. Like if you've been to like a car crash, or you could easily draw up because you can sort of feel it quite immediately if you have like near
Yeah.
crazy experiences. I think it's just because it's so fresh in your memory. I think it will forever be.
Oh, it's not been so fresh in my memory now. It's in about 20.
No, but think
17
about
years, yeah.
if the best thing I like, if you watch Band of Brothers, when they interview those old guys, 80, 90-year-olds, some of them even 100, they talk about being there and, man, it was tough that day, man. And then they just go right into crying, We lost a lot of people that day, and they boom, and they can say the line and they've immediately been transported like 85 years ago. And they are almost at 100 years.
You're right there again.
That's what I'm saying, because when it's such a powerful thing that's happened, and that for me made that series so powerful. When was they talking about them? They talking about like particularly that famous line he said that when the older guy said his grandkid said, "Grandpa, were you a hero in the war?" He said, "No, but I served with a company who was." Like that for me was, I mean, such a powerful thing, right? Even that, he knew like the heroes were the ones that died, but saying that, he just crying, it's just incredible to watch, like how powerful. So it's nothing, no.
No, I'm just saying, like, when we talked about imagery and how you can, like, he said that he finds a location and you said words. Yeah. For you, it's words. He sees, he imagines, he sees visions, like he sees things in his head. Yeah. And I think that's really interesting, because I think I read somewhere that some people don't see images.
Aphantasia.
Yeah.
They don't
have that visual imagination. They only see, they don't see anything. They remember audio and it's text. or something like that. Like I really have to go into that. I had a.
But you raised a really interesting point because I think that I don't naturally feel like somebody fitted to an audio-visual medium. Like I started as a writer first, I still primarily feel that way, but I maintain that anyone of no matter what's going on in your head, you have a right to try this out.
Yeah.
And you'll have something interesting and unique to bring to it. You'll have some sort of speciality. I still think mine is the dialogue. You know, that's why it's rarely interesting places that people are, and they dress in their own clothes, but the conversations they're having are what is bringing, and the performances are what's bringing people to my films. Happens to help them be really cheap as well.
Yeah.
So that's nice. And I think I used to think I'm just going to keep doing this because this is what I can get away with for now. I just really like doing this, you know.
Yeah, just
Like this stuff.
keep at it, bro.
Yeah.
You're doing a great
Even
job.
with this stuff, you know, it's nice to do podcasts. I think it's just nice to talk about the process and talk about each and everybody's different, you know.
It's been so interesting to hear about
Yeah.
your career, different things, different thoughts you've had about it, and
Yeah.
from all of you actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really nice.
We have to do this again.
Absolutely, we do. Yeah.
All right, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
That's a wrap.
Fuck you, audience.
That's a wrap. Fuck you. That's a wrap. So mature.